And so what happened is then Lewis said, sorry,
Rimming?
pardon? Yeah,
What?
yeah. So what happened? He thought it was rim, but it's actually
Yeah, I
room,
see.
which may
Uh,
have been the just
I see. So yeah.
classic.
Anyway, welcome back, guys,
Oh
to
yes,
Downward Point.
hi.
We were just
Yes.
discussing.
Hi.
We don't have a guest this week
No.
because Lewis Capaldi's not doing press anymore after his rimming comments
Yeah, we had him
on
directly
TV.
after that, and
Mm.
then for some reason, just couldn't do it anymore. And then we looked and we
Just got
realised
pulled. Yeah.
pulled, which famously would be the not what you would do in the other situation. Like that involves not pulling. It's
Not pushing either.
Look it up. It's more swirling. Let's go with
I
that.
hate this. We're recording
Yeah.
this at 10:30 on Sunday morning. I do not need this from you.
This deep dive into
Deep dive is the wrong
no, well,
term
no,
as well.
not that. Let's turn the page. Hi everyone, welcome back. It's another
That was boring. New music, good
joyous
times,
episode.
fun
Yes,
times.
all of them.
Good to be back in the swing of the standard podcast, not standing in a field anymore.
Yes,
Sitting at home talking about music, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's good to get back to the classic, isn't it? And I feel like everyone appreciates it more. Instead of us trying to literally cobble together stuff as it's 11 p.m. on a Sunday night at a festival.
Speaking of
we're actually
cobbling
here.
stuff together, I haven't had a look for mailbags. If you sent us a letter, I haven't seen it.
What I will say
didn't.
is we're honest at the very least.
Just didn't do it. So resend it maybe.
Yeah, we'll
And
get
I'll
round
look
to
at
it
it.
again. If there's anything time sensitive, sorry, but we can still answer it. So maybe in the future it'd help.
Yeah. Best thing to do is probably just to send it directly to Jamie, and his address is
No. Fucking hell.
1 Buckingham Palace Road.
Yes.
I don't know the rest of the address for that.
Squatting nowadays. That's what I'm going
That's
for.
what
there.
they call it, is it? Jamie's actually third in line to the throne.
I didn't want to bring it up, but let's just say it was a long weekend.
Because the Queen's dead. The mourning is over now, so you're allowed to make fun of her. I think that's how it works.
Thank God.
After the funeral, it's fair game.
I didn't know when the mourning ended, so even though the funeral happened, I still didn't know. Are we still going?
Well, yeah, but that's because you were going by whether the kebab shop near you had taken down their laminated A4 picture of the Queen from the window.
They were closed, and I was quite devastated.
When people get really annoyed about after the 12 days of Christmas, people still having Christmas decorations up.
Yeah.
Do you think you could now go into the estate agent near you and be like, "Morning's over. You take that picture of the Queen down, please."
I saw there was a chicken shop in Kentish Town that still had a big sign that just said R.I.P. the Queen and a photo knocking it about.
Yeah.
And I did wonder that. I was like, aren't we? Is that still?
Do you have to put the king up now? Are you allowed to put the meal deal 5 with the ribs back up?
Yeah, because that's real estate for you. You could be advertising your buckets at that point, and they can't at the moment. So, and obviously, where you want to go to, obviously, reflect and pay your respects is his favourite chicken in Kentish Town.
Favourite chicken? Was that her favourite?
Well, don't know. I didn't see the royal seal anywhere. So,
by appointment too.
I didn't see that. So I don't know. I didn't go in and ask for credentials.
We close at 11 unless the hotline rings, and then it's a fresh bucket over to Windsor.
That's the 6-piece 4 fries to Her Majesty.
Standard, ma'am. Orange Mirinda, 4 hot wings, 1 piece and chips,
and an apple pie. Sorted. Yeah. The order is in. That's obviously our order as well, so it's fine. It works out. But
I don't get the apple pies. That's a bit weird.
Why not? I
don't know. I don't trust them with fruit.
Right. Yeah. That's understandable. Yeah. Would you have an apple pie at McDonald's though, for example? A more established place.
I don't go to these places for dessert. I'd rather get a meal from there and then just buy a chocolate bar from the shop.
Okay, so even the McFlurry ice cream sort of world, you're
I don't mind a McFlurry, but also because thing is, you have to order it all at the same time, right?
Here we
And
go.
that's what gets me. Is like, I don't know before a meal whether I want an ice cream. And I'm also, am I going to eat this meal quick enough for the ice cream? Or do I go up afterwards and order again?
That's
It's not
too
happening.
much. That's too much, yeah. When I end up doing that order, I have the ice cream first. So it completely throws off my whole entire eating process.
You have the ice cream first.
Yeah. Well, for this exact reason that you've just stated, I don't want that melting all over my hands and all over the floor and all that jazz. I don't want to have a puddle of ice cream at the end of it. I want to take my time with my food, so I just plow through the ice cream first, and then settle into your Big Mac or your McPlant, depending on your persuasion.
You're a menace. Music news.
Music news, yes. Before we dive into some proper actual music news, bits of housekeeping. We've got another Dorks Night Out show coming up, Jake.
Friends of the show.
This time, following on from our chat about mourning, Halloween, Night of the Living Dork, headlined by Black Honey. Friends of the show, investors in the show. It feels like at this point.
Pretty much. Yeah,
pretty much. Going down at Colours Hoxton. You can go buy a ticket. A bunch have already gone. So if you listen to this and it's sold out, sorry. But also, go and get one, and don't be foolish.
Message Jamie for guest list.
Don't message me for guest list.
Message Jamie for guest list. He'll sort you out.
Don't do that. Don't, please. Well, it depends, actually.
Jamie is a bigot, but I'm not going to tell you what about.
What?
So if he doesn't give you guest list, then it's because he hates one thing about you that is completely irrational.
I am so delighted that you are continuing to raise me up in such a joyous manner on this show. It's always really
could be something weird, could be something illegal. Who knows?
There could be something legal as well. So that's
it could
good,
be.
isn't it?
It could just be because you like Seinfeld. Who knows?
I'll tell you what, if you want to get on guest list, just be like, here's the fancy dress idea I had. And if it's a really funny one, might just be like, yeah, go on then. So yeah.
What's interesting is that Jamie doesn't have any power when it comes to guest lists, so it doesn't really matter how good the costume is.
It'd be quite funny though, wouldn't it? So yeah, go for it. I'm gonna go as an inflatable tube man. That's my idea. So
yeah,
coming soon. Keep an eye out.
I'm gonna go as me.
Oh, truly horrific.
Exactly.
Go buy a ticket now. It's online. Do that. Great. There's also a stage at Neighbourhood Festival this year. That'd be good. If you're in Manchester and you go into it, go.
If you're in Manchester and you're already going to a festival,
go to our stage.
What are you even trying to sell?
just that we're there.
If you're at Neighbourhood and a band you want to see is playing on the Dork stage,
guess what?
Please go.
Yeah, do it. There's some.
I think you'll be there, won't you?
I will be there. Yeah.
I won't be there.
I'll be the person who who will have done the megabus in the morning to get up there, and then I'll be getting it back that night. So If you see me, help me. Just keep me upright in some capacity. Just help me. Come along. We're at Gorilla. It's going to be fun. And secret special guests. It's going to be good.
I'll be at the big anti-Tory march in London. So if you see me there, help me.
Also, yeah, both. Both. Same sort of drill there, really, basically at both sides. So
I won't have got a megabus anywhere. I'm just really lazy and it's a lot standing up.
Very quick one, Jake. Do we have a Dork stage at the anti-Tory rally?
Not that I'm aware of, but I am in touch with both Tribune and the Enough is Enough campaign to get us a little one.
Coming soon.
Yeah, see if we can scrape together some bands.
We can do it. Keep an eye out. We'll be, I don't know what, in a corner.
It's a march,
yeah.
So we'd have to get like a float or like a pallet on wheels that we can push like courting around on.
Yeah. Put it out the back, just like a DJ.
I feel like courting would be up for it. Sean, if you're listening,
well, let's get the plan.
Let's do it.
See, we laugh about this, but I genuinely would look into it and try and make it happen. That's the problem.
Well, don't.
Anyway, see everyone there. That'd be great. Let's get to some actual proper music news now, shall we? Now the housekeeping is in the bag, in the pocket, in the ticker. Stormzy, he's back, Jake.
He is back. So he has released a he's released a song called Mel Made Me Do It, but he's also released a upwards of 10-minute video to go with
Christ. Yes.
So yeah, it's 10 minutes and 52 seconds. It includes cameos from basically everyone in the world.
Yeah.
Including that football guy.
That football guy.
You know the one. The one who can't speak. If he speaks, he's in big trouble.
Oh, Mourinho. Yes.
That
football
one.
guy.
That's the one.
The football guy.
You're the sports boy.
Yeah,
You should
but
know
you can't
these
just
things.
say the football guy. It's like the music guy.
I thought you would have watched the 10-minute video, Jamie.
I have, but I thought that there were other footballers in it, which I believe there are. So I didn't know which one you meant.
No, I wouldn't know.
Great.
Anyway, the song is also very, very good. Really well balanced by the fact that you can listen to it on Spotify and it's really good, and then you watch it on YouTube and get a whole different experience. But I quite like this because I've always been more of a fan of the grime and rap side of the Stormzy stuff rather than the I Love Jesus stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
But the I Love Jesus stuff is one of the reasons why he can be on, Radio 2 and on the couch on This Morning. So I get it.
So you understand why
I get
the
how
Jesus
he's a
stuff is
crossover
there.
figure.
Yes.
But this song has a bit of both in it. And it's kind of a bit of a middle ground, which I like because I feel like the albums in the past, much as I love them, are very half of it is talking about cars and half of it's talking about God. And it's hard to marry these two in a way that doesn't feel a bit jarring. I think this song does it really well. Really looking forward to seeing what comes next. And also, it's about time he had another album, isn't it? It's been ages.
Yeah, I was about to say, is this his first music since headlining Glastonbury? Is that fair to say? Or roughly?
It's his first. So it's his first. He's done a few features, but it's his first track since.
Yeah.
He did a feature on that Nux album and a couple of others. But yeah, this is the first actual Stormzy thing.
Yeah, and the thing is, what's quite interesting is this. I mean, this video number, everyone should go and watch it. It's just really amazing. But there's not many artists who can bring that kind of many people together in one place. Like you say, it's jumping from people
get them to give the time to be in that as well.
Yeah, but it's jumping between the video is amazing because it goes to people like Little Sims is there, but then you're looking, it's like Mourinho, as you were saying, and then it suddenly turns around, it's like Jamal Edwards' family, and it's like an amazing, I don't know, just incredibly powerful video that everyone should kind of check out. And his ability to do that is amazing. And it's a real statement, I think, of he's been away for a little while, like you say, apart from some features and stuff. But this is kind of like, right, here I am back and still just above, not even just an artist anymore. Like he's really like
he's just one of those, isn't he? He is a Beyonce, an Adele. One of the
massively.
Whatever he does, it's going to be a huge moment. Also, it just feels great to me having played my own small part in it happening.
Of course, famously, Jake. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you remind the listeners once again what you did?
I went to the launch of the This Is Grime book at Rough Trade East, and Stormzy was on the panel, and he got up and walked through the crowd to go outside and have a cigarette. I don't know if he still smokes, wouldn't want to cast any aspersions. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me, mate." And I said, "Oh, sorry," and I moved out the way. And it's crazy to think that if I hadn't, he'd might still be trapped.
He'd still be there.
And he would never have done all this amazing stuff because he wouldn't have been able to get through that crowd. He wouldn't have with me in front of him. An unstoppable force meets an immovable object. I think that's why he got so jacked.
Yeah,
because he's worried. Now, if that happened and someone didn't move, he could just pick them up.
He'd lift you out of the way now. Yeah.
At the time, he was still a big guy, but I don't think he could have lifted me bodily.
Now,
easy. One hand.
So basically, what we're trying to say is enjoy Mel Made Me Do It, but also just say thank you to Jake. Because this would not happen without it.
It wouldn't have done.
Let's listen. This is Mel Made Me Do It by Stormzy.
I'm greasy, it's easy. Man talk shit until they see me, believe me. All you niggas give me heebie-jeebies. Word to Lauren, I will die on this hill. You little niggas 2 figures shy on my deal. Someone slide me the bill. Okay, I got it. What my eyes don't see, the Messiah reveals. If it all goes left, give Josiah my will. Cause I guess I'm just a brother that they're dying to kill off. Your boy's mad dark, still I shine like a grill. Yeah, I'm healthy and I'm blessed, but I rhyme like I'm ill. Lying back or holding on the line like Khalil. Ooh. I live a life that they tried to fulfill, so they hate on my name.
Powerful. Truly powerful. And thank you, Jake.
Knowing the journey he's been through from Rough Trade is really what I think cements it.
No, what was that? No Glastonbury without you?
Nothing, yeah.
Nothing.
I mean, that was pre-first album.
So again,
if you think about it, I'm responsible for all of it.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you.
Welcome.
That's where I thought we would get to after talking about the new Stormzy track. Powerful. Some other music news. Arctic Monkeys. They're going on a big stadium tour next year.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is going to be a big deal. Well, stadiums and parks and other associated large venues.
It is like, I do feel for whoever had to book this tour when they went, right? So the O2 is too small, so we want to play somewhere bigger than that. And they go, okay, we can do that. And they go, yeah, we want to play somewhere bigger than that in Bristol, Coventry, Manchester, Middlesbrough, Norwich, Sheffield, Swansea, Southampton, London, Dublin, and Glasgow. Half of these places, I don't think they've ever hosted a fucking gig before.
I mean, some of them, you do worry and you do wonder what's going on here.
Has the Carrow Road Stadium in Norwich hosted a gig before?
It's usually Elton John. I mean, obviously, shout out any listeners in Norwich.
I've also only just clocked that in Swansea they'll be playing the Swansea.com stadium.
I'm sorry. What? Yeah, like no one else, no other sponsor could get on that.
Swansea.com.
Let me just have a look what Swansea.com actually quite like. Oh, it is just there. It is, yeah, just Swansea.
Swansea.
Just all about Swansea. No, actually, it's a group of privately owned businesses in South Wales.
There you go.
So, shout out them. Getting a shout out on the Arctic Monkeys tour somehow. So
that's what they did it for.
That's what the branding's for, guys. That's what the branding's for. They're announcing a big tour. This is and I believe their first ever stadium tour. Like ever?
I was thinking this because they didn't really do much around the last album, did they? No. They did the Royal Albert Hall stuff.
And kind of all the other kind of, I mean, like, they obviously, like, just, if we go all the way back, like, that first album, they got obviously very quick, very big, very quickly, and kind of just went, boom, there it is. And then suddenly they were basically festival headliners from that point onwards. And so whenever they've been doing shows, it's been like, we'll do like a big outdoor show here, we'll do festivals here, and then if not, we'd do like a bunch of arena shows because we can then tailor that a little bit more. They've never really been like, here we go, let's go on a big stadium tour.
Let's go and play the Swansea.com stadium.
But now is the time. Maybe the new album The Car has gone, you know what, this would go down well in what? The
Swansea.com.
The world famous Aegeus Bowl in Southampton.
The Aegeus Bowl sounds like something you'd be able to order at a fancy Greek restaurant. Like a low carb option.
I think you'll find it's actually a cricket ground.
Right.
So well done.
So what?
Just well done, I guess.
Playing cricket grounds is quite Tom Jones, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they're playing the Emirates Old Trafford in Manchester, which is also a cricket ground. So a mixture of different places, but big shows they're going for, which is quite, which is obviously great. And
what's the capacity of the Emirates Stadium for a gig? Do you know?
I think it's about 55,000.
And what's the capacity of Wembley Stadium?
Probably about, you can get towards 80, I reckon, out there.
Oh, so why didn't they just do that?
Probably because Harry Styles has booked it out for about 4 months next year.
Oh yeah,
so that's probably done it for them. I'll be honest with you, or maybe they're secret Arsenal fans.
Right? Yeah, I was going to say, maybe. Some weird dates here though, Jamie.
Why? What's
there's little gaps. Little gaps.
Yeah, there is.
Gapstonbury.
Yes, Gapstonbury. Yes, rumours are abound that maybe they'll be returning, and
maybe. The thing, with this, is if they don't now, it's going to be so disappointing. They've got a tour that is in the UK at the same time and misses out those dates, and they're one of about 10 bands that can headline Glastonbury.
But
so
who
if they
knows?
don't do it, it'll just be sorry, Emily Evis, what the fuck went wrong?
Yeah. Just turn around hey lads, Come on.
Yeah, what happened?
Come on. They're there. They're running around. They were really great at Reading. We had a lovely time. So these shows will be great. And once the album's out,
I lost
lovely.
my sunglasses, so I do expect them to reimburse me.
You nearly lost your phone though, and you got that back.
I did.
That's a positive, right?
So really, love wins.
Yeah. They'll be joined by the Hives and the Mysterines as well on the tour.
Rogue. So rogue.
Great stuff. Good fun. Well on everyone. Well on everyone. And also 2 big shows at Hillsborough Park in Sheffield. So you can imagine that going to be fucking chaos.
Yeah, why are they doing 2 shows in Sheffield? That's weird.
Yeah. Do they have some sort of connection?
Like Manchester?
Do they have some sort of connection?
No. Oh yeah, they really like Sean Bean.
That's it. Yeah, big Pulp fans. Actually,
of course, yeah.
So good on them.
They just looked around and they went, "Oh my god, can you imagine a life without steel?" We need to do something to thank Sheffield for steel.
Finally, thank God, eh?
Presumably, they'll also do 2 or 3 dates in Pittsburgh in America to marry up the steel industry love.
A fan of the raw materials, are they? So
yes.
Yes.
Well,
great.
steel's not a raw material; it's an alloy, Jamie.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It is indeed. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. That conversation really fucking boring. So let's have a listen to "There Better Be a Miracle," Arctic Monkeys.
Giving it the old romantic fool seems to better suit the mood. So if you wanna walk me to the car, you ought to know I'll have a heavy heart. So can we please be absolutely sure?
There better be an alloy.
There better be an alloy, he says.
There better be an alloy rim.
The car is out soon. New album. Should be great.
See? An alloy rim. Car.
Nice, yeah. 21st of October. Cars. Talking about stuff built out of fucking, I don't know, weird materials. The Arcadia Spider,
about your lunch
Jake.
again.
Hey.
Yes, the big spider.
Have you ever ate metal, Jake? Very quickly. Accidentally, obviously.
I don't think like intentionally. I swallowed a 5p once at uni.
Why? What happened? Was it?
I don't want to go into it.
What? Don't want to go into that.
You know what I've always thought about the big spider in Glastonbury?
Yes.
How good it would be at football with all those legs.
Yeah.
And also the fact that because there's so much fire coming out of it, it would do really well in a temperature that most human beings wouldn't want to play football in a country so corrupt that the only reason they got the World Cup was by bribing lots of people and killing lots of immigrant workers.
And also because it's so hot there as well, you need more fire.
Yeah.
Like, you need more of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's happened. Qatar, which is hosting the World Cup at the end of this year, has
shout out the abysmal human rights record of Qatar.
Woo! Well, it's got the spider now. It's hired the Arcadia Spider for celebrations during the football tournament this autumn.
See, what I also don't understand is, like, isn't the whole point of people like hosting the World Cup, like, you do some weird thing, like you get like for us it'd be like, you know, King Charles driving a London bus into a pie, something.
Yeah.
You know? And then like Qatar have just gone like, oh, we'll get the spider that like Bristol have for Glastonbury.
The great connection.
Why the fuck have you got the World Cup if you don't even have anything to like show off?
Yeah, I mean, what you say. I mean, you don't know if necessarily the spider. I don't know. Like they're still working out what the spider's doing. Like no one's really sure. But there are reports that it's going to be used potentially as like a fan zone, like one of the fan zones that you can be like underneath it, and there'll be like DJs playing and stuff.
Oh, one of the few places you'll actually be allowed to drink.
Yes, that potentially is what they're looking at, which is good for everyone. That's going to go well, isn't it? Just in general, like, that's going to go well.
It's
everyone.
just
the World Cup.
I don't know anything about football, but like when didn't they do a report and they were like, oh, it turns out there's no corruption. And I'm just like, just
Yes, there was an
pointing at the World
investigation.
Cup
Yeah.
in Qatar and going like, there is corruption.
I think
this
there
doesn't
was...
make any sense. If there's no corruption, everyone has been lobotomized. That's how little sense this makes.
They what happened was they were like, oh yeah, no, there were bribes that happened, and everyone went okay, and went. So anyway, see you at the World Cup in 20. Like, whoa, guys, are we not going to do it? And they're like, no, there was stuff bad that happened. Great. Anyway, see you at the World Cup. So that's kind of the drill of what's happened there. Which
Shout
is great.
Out.
I can't wait to see like what artists kind of get pulled into the World Cup, like what musicians get asked to like play, especially now there's the Arcadia fella. Right? Will we see Calvin Harris do a DJ set potentially?
I mean, I think it's one of those. Like, remember at Donald Trump's inauguration when it was just like Michael Flatley. I feel like they're going to start a Calvin Harris, and you're going to end up going, and it'll be like, and now Bondax.
Shout out Bondax.
I don't actually know if Bondax would do it, but I mean, I feel like they're going to end up with someone that you're like, is that all they could get?
You're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Like, good on you there.
Bondax may have impeccable politics, and I don't want to cast aspersions, but they were just one of the 3 DJs I know.
Amazing. Oh dear. I mean, it already smells of Rita Ora will be there, I reckon, or Jessie J.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. The World Cup, the Arcadia.
Maybe they'll book like a rogues gallery with like Eric Clapton. Don't know. Someone else with horrible politics.
To Qatar. Qatar is open, and there's Eric Clapton playing Layla.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of those country musicians that no one ever hears anything from, and then they just come out and say things like "black people shouldn't exist," and then carry on making country music.
You're like, whoa, excuse me, sorry, can you repeat that? Oh no, they're gone. They're gone. Right, okay.
They're gone.
Sure.
I never feel like they need to say it.
No.
That's what always gets me.
No,
like Eric Clapton.
No one's asked
Eric
for an
Clapton
opinion.
could be like privately racist, but he chooses to be like publicly racist, which seems
not
odd
because
to me.
He's like forced into a situation. No, just says, oh, by
like
the way,
Ian Brown, you know.
Yes,
he just went. You know what? COVID's not real.
Yeah, we weren't asking. We weren't asking you.
Stone Roses aren't even fucking active at the moment.
Give it a rest, please. Give it a rest, sir.
Just stay at home and don't get a vaccine there. Like,
God. Well,
anyway,
it's good fun. Well, the World Cup is in December for some fucking reason, so that's going to be great for everyone involved. The Spider will be there. Great.
It will.
I wonder if
will you be there?
The World Cup? Yeah. I've got loads of tickets. Yeah.
Loads of
them. You know. I love a bit of that. And I thought that Qatar, because of what I like having a pint. I like obviously the warm temperature. I thought, that'll do me really well to go out there.
What I've always wanted to do is have a pint in a desert so hot that if I don't drink it quickly, it evaporates.
I have always wanted to be like, the only way I can drink here is if I stand underneath the Arcadia Spider from Glastonbury whilst
listening to a DJ set.
Listen to a DJ set as I prepare to go see Costa Rica versus England. That's the dream.
That's it.
That's the dream. Well, let's get ready for the World Cup by playing the only World Cup song that really matters, and that is Ant Deck, We're on the Ball. It's a tune, right? Let's go with that.
And nation reunited, and England comes alive. Golden Balls is captain, and Heskey makes it 5. We're on the ball. 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 Red, white and blue, the colours, the whole world in our hands. Time has come to kick it. Can we kick it?
Shout out.
No guest this week.
No. There's a little bit of quiet there where you thought, who's coming on? There's
no one.
There's not. It's just
No one.
us. We're the guest. You're the guest this week. Well, not really, because we didn't answer any of the mailbags. So actually,
we're just.
we do
I guess
it.
we're just sitting in a locked room chatting.
A room. Yeah.
Do you think if Joe Rogan doesn't get a guest, he just has to do it all by himself? See, that's what we're lucky. It's because there's two of us.
We'll always be all right at the end of the day. Yeah. Whereas, they have to sit and hear does that, which I'm sure is devastating for him to have to talk to himself.
Joe Rogan's probably one of the only men who could have a conversation with himself, isn't he?
Yeah, and do like 3 hours of it as well.
Yeah,
Like,
and then be cut off by someone else because it's gone on too long.
Just like, Joe, wrap it up, sir. Wrap it up, sir. We don't need any of this. There's no guest. It's just us. So, hi.
Interesting guy, isn't he? I've never seen someone so virulently in agreement with anything anyone in the room says.
Yeah.
He's like, he feels like a Labrador.
What, just always seeking approval?
I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's just a bit of an idiot.
Yeah, just wants just approval and just to sit in a room with someone.
Just someone comes in and goes like, COVID's really bad and we should get a vaccine. And he's like, yeah, that makes so much sense, man. Let's get back to the real world. And then like Jordan Peterson comes on and goes like, COVID's a conspiracy and all I do is eat meat and men should tidy their room. He's like, yeah, man.
Yeah,
that's
agreed. Yeah. Do you think that's the direction we need to go in for the podcast? Is be a little bit more, like
have more and more controversial guests and agree with them.
Yeah. So like maybe, we can bring in some more like shock people and then we can just throw in some wild views here and there. And then maybe that'll pick up nicely,
Yeah.
Maybe we become like, that Diary of a CEO podcast where he's just
maybe
like,
we just get like Morrissey on.
Yeah. Why not? Like, just see what happens. Just see what happens.
If you're listening, we're up for it now. We said no before, but we're up for it now.
Now we're game. Yeah, why not? Just come in. Like,
anyway, moving on from controversial front people who remain inexplicably big. Time for tracks. Jamie, have you got any for us?
Let's start with the 1975.
Yeah. Sounds good. Nice clean break.
Yeah. The band of a new track, All I Need to Hear. They're all gearing up for the release of the new album, Being Funny in a Foreign Language, which is out 14th of October. Not far away. It's all happening.
And I still see people routinely getting the name wrong, so they should probably sort that out.
Maybe they should, like...
Being foreign in a funny language.
Yes.
Being funny in a language that is foreign.
Or just funny in a foreign language.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the long album titles, though. That's it, isn't it, Jake? Like,
Yeah, but something like I Like It When You Sleep for You Are So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It. Is that right?
Tremendous. Well done. Congratulations. I was wondering where you were going to go with that, but yes, you nailed it.
Why is that easier for me to remember?
Yeah. Is it
There's so much more that could go wrong there. Yeah. But it's so long that my brain's like, yeah, this is important. We should pay attention.
Yeah, let me just get that in solidly. Yeah, you've nailed it. But yeah, it's all going well. All building up very nicely. Obviously, they announced a big UK and Ireland tour. And now they're touring all over the place. Big shows here, there, and everywhere.
They're rocking all over the world.
They truly are. And new song is called All I Need to Hear. Like kind of what the 1975 I feel like do every time there's a new album out is they'll put out all these singles and you'll be like, oh, that sounds completely different to that last song. Or that sounds completely different to everything else. Like everything we've heard so far in terms of like Part of the Band, Happiness, I'm in Love with You, and now All I Need to Hear, all very different from one another in a lot of ways. And this one is probably like, I don't know, like the most like simple 1975 song like you may ever have heard. Like it's just.
Is it the funniest one?
It's not the funniest. No, it's quite emotional.
Is it the most foreign?
It's not the most foreign, I don't think. No.
Okay.
I guess like probably the most foreign one would be the one that they did, which was the robot, the one where it's like Siri basically was like chatting. That's probably the weirdest one. But this one is just it's hard to, when you say something's like simple, people might think, oh, that's a bit of a like, oh, you're just saying it's just like easy.
Yeah, like when people say you're simple.
Yeah, they say that all the time about me. But I look at the positives of that, and that means that I am reliable.
That's all I need to hear.
Yeah, that's all you do. This song is that. It's just amazing, really earnest, just very just very soppy in a lot of ways. Like it's what you find with the 1975 is every time like they get to a really deep emotional place, like Matty will chime in and be like, and then take the piss out of himself. And I think that's just like a defense mechanism. I mean, like, I guess most people do in life. It's like, oh,
it's a very English thing to do, isn't it? Or very British thing to do.
Very British, where it's just like, like, this is me really opening up. But, no, I'm just joking around.
God forbid, I'd never think about doing that.
Yes, never. But this one is actually just like straight up raw, emotional, and it's just a really lovely song. It's good. It's really classic feel. It sounds like it's a song that you would have heard like growing up, and like a song that's been around for ages. Quite timeless in its feel. So yeah, it's just really, really amazing. And just adding that other bow to what to expect from the album, which really looking forward to. Yeah. Well, no. Well, Bo's not going to be on it. Oh, well, I don't know, Bo. If you're listening, are you?
I think you mean another string to the bow.
No, I mean, no. Like they're all
just
they're
another
all part
bow.
Of it. No, but they're all part of the same thing, aren't they? Like, you know what I mean.
Have you ever got a metaphor right in your life?
I just don't think you need.
Not even not a metaphor, like a turn of phrase.
I mean, I just don't think like you know what train I'm on at that point. Like, I don't need to get it right. Like, you're in the same realm. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're going down. You knew right away what I meant. So it doesn't matter at that point.
I can't believe how many hours of my life I've spent talking to
you. And that is all I need to hear. This is something like 75. It's great.
Reply to my message. Pick up my call. See, I wrote you a letter. It was no use at all. Oh, I don't care if you're insincere. Just tell me what I want to hear.
Glorious.
Truly Now,
truly great.
Now,
yes,
Jamie. You know when the Murder Capital released a song, and they said more. What was it? Big things were coming, or more was coming.
Yeah,
and we were all just had no idea what that could possibly mean.
No idea.
It turns out it was an album.
Oh Lord!
Who would have thought it?
Big.
So yeah, they've just released another single, 1,000 Lives, and announced the release of their new album, Gigi or Gigi's Recovery.
Gigi or Gigi. Gigi.
Yeah, coming out January 2023. That's a long lead-in.
That's a long time. That's good though. Rather that. At least it's not October. Fucking hell.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
Fucking Jesus.
We saw them, didn't we? We saw Murder Capital on Thursday. Had a lovely time
this week. Yeah, really lovely.
A little comeback show.
Great band, really great band, and like just amazing.
I was really not sold on the first single. I didn't mind it, but I really thought like, where's this going? Seeing it live, seeing this one live as well, like I am much more on board. I think I prefer this one anyway. But yeah, just seeing them both live, it is a lot less of a completely different thing to the first album. You know what I mean? I was a bit like, how do you square that first album to this? But it does work.
Yeah,
it's a lot more coherent live. Not that it needs to be on album, so it's just good to see that live when they are mixing those songs, it does work. I'm really looking forward to this album, though. This new track, I think, is great. Completely different direction for them, which I think is quite a brave thing to do. Taking a lot more from things like The National and Radiohead than it does from the post-punk revival stuff we've seen. I don't like The National or Radiohead, so that's not to say that this sounds like either of them. People have been saying like it's just like something off of Kid A, and I'm like, no, because I hate that Kid A. But yeah, I think it's good. They are both good. I hope the album stays on the right side of a sort of concept. They've said it's kind of a conceptual thing. I hope that that's sort of a nice thing you can tap into if you want, rather than something that really strangles the individual songs. Yeah, which seems like that'll be the case. But it's just always when people say concept album, I'm like, oh, which kind of concept album?
Hold on. No, but like you're saying, live, like they played some other new tracks as well there that were sounding really great, and like you said, it expands their world a bit. Like it's not like they're going like, right, we need to like burn what we did before and completely start afresh. They're just expanding it, and you can tell that just as musicians, they're growing and getting better, and they're reaching out to different things.
It's the kind of thing you'd expect from album 3 or 4, I think, in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it was when the first one came out, just not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like I know there's a lot of comparisons to be had with Fontaines, with them both being Irish, coming around at the same time. They're mates as well. And that second Fontaines album didn't work as well as the first for me. Yeah. But it was completely different. And the third one, I think, was a great kind of amalgamation of those first two with some new stuff in it. So, and also there were still tracks on that Fontaines one I loved. And like this one from Murder Capital, I'm hoping is in a similar vein where it does expand and also give them a more solid base as a band to experiment rather than being a kind of, oh, do you remember that debut album? Yeah, we've made that again, and sort of diminishing returns.
Yeah, exactly. So, you'd rather than push it out a bit and try things. And guess what? Sometimes it may not work, but then at times like this, especially with this track, it works so well, and especially seeing them live, you'd be like, okay, this is really interesting. I mean, they're always an incredible live band, and they still are like just a phenomenal live band full of just, I don't know, emotion. I mean, like they were able to silence a room. Like with some of their songs, like
someone near the bar did shush someone as well, so they were involved.
And then someone did drop a glass at the bar.
The bartender made a drink with a load of ice in it in a completely silent room.
All you could hear was just like, and you're like, oh no. But yeah, amazing band. Like still, that first album is incredible, and like hearing what we're hearing from that, I'm really looking forward to seeing. What comes to the rest of it. So,
although I've got to say, I did prefer it when James McGovern, the frontman, wore cowboy shirts rather than 3-piece suits. So, little one.
Yeah.
Just
James,
a personal choice, you know. James, maybe if you're not using the cowboy shirts, send them my way. I'd love them.
I'll use them.
Yeah, this is 1,000 Lives by the Murder Capital.
We can take them, baby, you and I. Take the clouds between our windows and the sky. Crystals forming on your cheeks, my love. 1,000 lives with you and I won't be enough. I'd like to remind you of this.
Didn't realise that this place had become like Depop. Basically,
don't ask, don't get, mate.
It's true.
No, not Depop. I'm not paying. It's Free Cycle.
It's Free Cycle. There you go. Let's go on to a friend of the show, Dylan, who's dropped
the one and only.
Who's dropped a brand new track called "Nothing Lasts Forever." It's an absolute banger, and it definitely feels like this as we're getting towards the end of the year, and as we're starting to look. Probably at like the artists that are going to like make their mark like for 2023 and kind of be on those like tip lists, and people be like, oh, these are the people you want to look out for. These are the people that are going to be massive. It just feels like Dylan is just picking up momentum all the time, and this is another big, pop chorus, big, indie, just great, just really good, solid banger. And it just seems to be just like really just, I don't know, like finding a rhythm that I think like, when we were talking at Reading, like, she was saying like, I've been doing this for a while and it only feels like now it's properly clicking. And it just feels like, she's in this really golden period of like amazing tunes, big songs. And I'm just really excited for everything that kind of like she does now. Already like, sold out, shows like all running through next year. So I just think like if there's someone you want to be like, right, this is the person who's going to be absolutely massive.
It already feels like the precipice, doesn't it? Of a huge year.
Yeah, it already feels like that is already there. So it's really looking forward to it. And this is just, the sort of song where you listen to it like the first time, you're like, right, there it is. That should be played everywhere. Like, it's just in your head constantly. Amazing. Nothing Lasts Forever. It's a big one. And there's a new 8-track mixtape coming, 28th of October. It's called The Greatest Thing I'll Never Learn. Jake, what's the greatest thing you'll never learn?
Roller skating.
I mean, very fair, to be honest with you. I'm going to go with paragliding.
I didn't ask.
This is Dylan. Nothing lasts forever.
Come and get it together. When you gonna figure out that nothing ever lasts forever, forever, forever. Hope is zero money, but you're not very clever. When you gonna figure out that nothing ever lasts forever, forever, forever. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing ever lasts, nothing lasts forever. Nothing ever lasts, nothing lasts forever. Nothing ever lasts, nothing lasts forever.
Big song.
Big song.
Yes,
Big time.
Dylan. Yes, Dylan. Yes. Got time for one more.
Great.
One more track, Jake.
We have.
Cool.
Well, it's been a week for album releases.
Yes.
Sports team. Friends of the show. Worked out. I personally have interviewed Alex from Sports Team, sometimes with, sometimes without the rest of the band. I think it was 9 times, which frankly feels like too many. So that is the album. Sports Team is the album. But of course, friends of the show, friends of the magazine, just general friends.
General friends at this point.
Wonderful band. Courting have also released their album this week. So I'm going to put a Courting track in here so we can chat about that and also the album. So I'm gone with Famous, which I think is one of the sort of glitchier ones, one of the ones that marries up that kind of indie stuff they started out doing and the more PC music stuff they've moved into. But it's just a great album all around. Completely chaotic. Really does feel like a band who have 400 things they want to do and are determined to do all of them in one album. And I think you just got to sort of strap in and let them do it. And it when you just let yourself just let it wash over you, it works really well. Don't try and make sense of it.
It's just I love this debut album from Courting. I just think it's like, bearing in mind where they were as a band when they like started, like, you know. And it's, you know, look, we have a laugh with it, but it's easy, to be like, look, they were kind of following that kind of sports team model of here's these kind of songs and here's the kind of vibe. You know, if you go and listen to those earlier songs,
especially like Grand National, stuff like that,
exactly.
Which is a great track.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think on this, I still tend towards loving the stuff like Tennis. But I equally think it is one of those albums where you could get 6 or 7 people in a room who all love the album and all of them would have a different favorite track because they're all so different. Like, I really enjoy Famous, but I prefer Tennis. But then I think a lot of people would say like Jumper's probably the sort of standout single on it. That kind of more classic indie track. But I mean, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot.
What's your favorite, Jamie?
I mean, to be fair, like Famous, which we'll play in a sec, is one of probably my favorites. It's a standout. I just like it. Melds all these worlds together that I think Courting are trying to bring to the table. It was that kind of more PC music kind of edge to it with this kind of like indie kind of like build and release, and with that kind of like more, I don't know, post-punk for lack of a better term, kind of like delivery as well. Like,
it's really annoying that it's stuck on post-punk despite that not being accurate.
Yeah.
It's really annoying that you we say it all the time, don't we? But it's like, if you're referencing that genre and those bands, you have to use that term, even though it's not really that good a term.
Why has no one found a better term yet for this? Like, can we just find something? We'll put our heads together. We'll find something better.
It's too late now.
It's gone. I love it. Even stuff like when it goes to like Uncanny Valley Forever, where it's like 8.5, like 9-minute song. Like, and if you told me that Courting were going to make a 9-minute song like 2 years ago, I would have been like, sorry, what? It's just
the Pop Shop lads.
Yeah. I just think this album like just completely defies expectations for where people may have thought that band were going to go when they first kind of like emerged. And I just love that it's so individual and like, number one, tunes are amazing. But number two, like, just the ability to be like, right, we're going to make this record. Like, this is the record we want to make. It's completely pushing against any sort of like, easy route for them, where it could have been, look, we will write these sort of songs. They've just gone for it. And like, the result is just a record that for me just completely stands out from anyone. Like, it's just completely in its own lane.
I do just love, and what I've always loved about Sports Team. Obviously, we'll talk about the album in a minute, but like they're just like willing to have fun with it, and I think there is so much about indie music and like that like the reason people want to be in bands and the reason people originally used to music is as a release and to have fun and like being silly and just like. I mean, it's ludicrous that you can get on stage and play a guitar and earn money from doing that. And like, I think you should just embrace that as a thing and stuff. Like, so many people seem to be sort of veering towards this idea again that you have to be like seriously standing there smoking a cigarette with sunglasses on.
Yes.
Say to people like, I'm actually a serious musician. And it's like, there shouldn't be such a thing as a serious musician.
No. They just embrace the fun.
Just have
of it.
fun.
Yeah.
Embrace the fact that you are having fun and everyone there is having fun. Not to say you can't have a serious song in there, but I just love that this Gortic album, there's so many influences here, so much technical ability, so much talent. And also at the end of the day, they are more than willing to say something stupid and have a laugh.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And also,
name an album with very few guitars in it compared to their other stuff. Guitar music. Like, just have a laugh, guys.
I think
You'll be
it's
dead for longer. Enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, it's a real It's going to be dead for longer. I mean, it's true.
Plenty of time to lie around not saying anything when you're dead.
Yeah, it's a real standout. And like I think if you go and listen to this album, you'll be like, okay, like no matter what, you will not be bored by this album. Like, it's what I can safely say to anyone. If people don't like it, fair enough. I mean, like, but I think a lot of people will, because I think it's really, really incredible. But also, you will not be bored by this album. Like, and I think that's
this album is kind of what I wanted 100 Gex to sound like when people told me about them, instead of sounding like absolute dog shit.
Instead, xylophones.
Also, I don't even think that's an insult for them. That's kind of what they're going for.
Yeah.
I think 100 Gex are the only band that a fan would be like, yeah, they sound awful. It's great.
See you there.
This is Famous by Courting, who don't sound awful.
A Roman nose ruined. It's just the same on every last channel. Sitcoms and sitcoms and sitcoms. That one that dragged on for a while. But you can't blame him. The singer had someone now. He had the whole cast of Friends. I hope David Berman is proud of me. I hope David Beckham is proud of me.
Amazing. Big one. Courting. Guitar music. Go check it out. It's bloody great. Good on them. I mean, we'll get them. Yeah, they'll come back to the show one day. Once the heady days of success.
Yeah, once they're off gallivanting with their record store tour at the moment.
Yeah, they're all over the place doing stuff. But good on them. Courting. Yes. Speaking of albums, as we said, let's get to our album of the week. We talked about Courting. Let's get to the one and only Sports Team, who
the one and only
feel ingrained in the sheer lore that is this show.
Pretty much.
Back with a second album. Gulp, obviously following on from Deep Down Happy that came out, a couple of years ago now? I would say 2020?
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, during the pandemic, wasn't it? Here we are. Gulp. A lot of things after doing like Deep Down Happy and everything that came with it, like trying to follow that up, like it's an interesting challenge. And like, how do you think Sports Team have done, Jake?
Wow, what a question. I think there's a genuine sense speaking to them, and I don't think it's like a sort of defensive like posture that they haven't considered that as a thing.
Yeah.
I think because all of them left uni, had like office jobs, and then went back to being a band. There's this real sense within them that it's like they're living on borrowed time, as it is, as any band is. And the fact is, every day they get to earn money being in a band, they're like, this is the best time of our lives. I'm speaking to Alex between albums, and he was like, if you make a bad album, just make another one. Speaking to them around this album, and they're just like, yeah, I think it's really good, and we've done the best we can, and like, I hope people like it. And there is a genuine sense that they are just there, like, well, what more can you do? Which is, I think, a good attitude to have, a very hard attitude to maintain. I love this album. I think it's great. I think there's a lot of differences from the first one. I think there's a couple of tracks in it that didn't like as much on first listen that have really grown on me. But I think that happened with the first album as well.
Yeah.
But I think with this, I think they got the number 2 last time, which was, lockdown chart battle, sort of a load of, a bit of an anomaly. And I think
where's Lady Gaga now? That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. And I think with this one coming out, I think the pressure would be there externally. Like, well, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
And I think like a lot of the singles that came out, like Our Entertainment and The Game, were very like first album, like big indie bangers.
Yeah.
And I think maybe this album could have done with like one more of them. But I think like what is on here, like, I mean, Call It Kid, which we're about to play, I absolutely love. And it's something that wouldn't have fitted on that first album.
Yeah, you wouldn't have heard.
And I remember the first couple of reviews that came out about this said like, oh, it's a bit similar to the first one. I just don't really see that at all. I don't get that sense from it. I think you could criticize it by saying it doesn't land as well as the first if you wanted to, which I also wouldn't agree with. But I think that's a more realistic statement. Like, that would be. Whereas I can't see how you would listen to this album and go, like, more of the same.
Yeah, if you
it's just not.
Like just something like Dig, for example. It's like that is just a song that literally there's no touch of that across the first album at all.
No.
Like it's got this like own kind of like drive to it, its own thing. And I think it just shows them like it's an evolution of what Sports Team been doing before. And I also think it's really informed by that kind of live aspect and the big stages that they've been playing, especially over like the past like year or so, suddenly being in that position where you are the go-to like main stage act for a festival.
Yeah, it's
like,
no longer, wow, I can't believe we're on the main stage. It's, we'll be, if you book them for a festival, that would be where they are.
Yeah, I mean, when we saw them at Reading like last year, so 2021, it felt like that was like, look at how far we've come here. Especially going into like Brixton as well. Like,
what I think was interesting, especially with the Brixton one, was like Kentish Town.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, all of the gigs they've played in London have always been, I wonder if we can do this. And it's always been
fun.
like hardly any tickets left towards the end, but like, are they going to do it? Whereas Brixton actually felt, especially compared to Kentish Town, relatively comfortable.
Yeah.
It was just like they are a band that should be playing Brixton.
Yeah, it's no longer a haha. Look where we could go. It's like, no, this is where we are. Like they're definitely like, I don't say like comfortable in their own skin, because I think they've always been that. But I think there's definitely a sense of we are at this position now, and we're happy to be like, yes, this is where we are. And I think they kind of like shows in this. I think there is just this, I don't know, like a freedom that comes with a lot of these tracks on the record. And like, I just think it's a really, it's one which just builds. If you're a fan of Deep Down Happy, you'll find a lot to love here. But I do also think like, if you're just someone who's caught them live over the summer, like you will find other stuff that you're like, oh wow, it kind of gives you a fresh perspective, I think, on them, which I think is great, and they thoroughly deserve that. It's wonderful. Should we listen to a track, Jake?
Yes. So this is one of my favourites, Call It Kid, from the album.
I don't know how your track takes it.
I think what you were saying as well about like, if you've caught them live, like so much of this is just such great ammo for like live shows. Like there is that thing, I think, like one band that have always done it so well is Spectre, where like every song of theirs, if you've never heard it before, like halfway through, you know the chorus. There's something you can sing along to. And I think there's so much to be said for having songs like that, like Dig on this. That's live. If you've never seen them before, a minute in, you're like, I get this. I can do this.
You're in at that
point.
And
that's half the fun of like seeing a band live, and half the reason that I think as people get older, they tend to just like the bands they've always liked. Because it's an effort to get into a new band. You're never going to be, especially when you've heard a lot of music before, you're never going to be hit by every band, going like, wow, this is immediately incredible. And like seeing someone live, if you don't know any of the songs, it can feel like a bit of like you are excluded. Like everyone's there singing along, and you're just there like, I don't know the cues here. Sports Team, great performers. Great songs, but also like songs that like halfway through, even if you don't know any, you can sing along a bit, you know.
There's that sense
without
of it's
being
easy.
overly simplistic as well.
There's like an easy way for you to get into it, and I think that's it's very like an environment where you can dive in at any point, and like I feel like that shines once again on this album, and I think it shows like this ambition, but also like you were saying right at the start, like this kind of, I don't know, this kind of sense of, and as we were talking about with the Courting kind of like album, you know, just having fun with it, you know, simply like, and you can hear that throughout the album, that this is a band just having fun. With the position that they're in and everything that comes with it, and it's just infectious because it will then catch on with everyone else that's kind of like listening and kind of at that show, and it's an album which I just thoroughly enjoy, and I think also will grow and grow as the weeks and months go ahead. Like I think it's something that, especially when it comes around to like those live shows that they have coming up, like people will just be drawn into that. Like it will continue to grow and take on a new life. So
and they are just a fan-led band. I think they're one of the few bands that like, I think if this album got 5-star reviews across the board, but the people at their shows, who have been following them for ages, didn't like it, that would be more devastating for them than the other way around. And I think that's the right way to be. Like, as much as we are on the side of like, you know, scoring things, reviewing things, I do think like I'm in my late 20s and so are you. Like, if both of us went like, oh yeah, like I'm not sure if this is for us, like realistically the majority of people our age have already phased out of new music.
We are the last ones standing.
Yeah, but like when you're 15, everyone you know loves music. Everyone you know wants to go to gigs. You remember when you finally got to 18 and you could go to gigs instead of it being like, oh, is this one a 14 plus?
Not being
like
chaperoned.
That. Yeah. Exactly. And like this, like Sports Team have always been such a great band in an era where so many guitar bands tend to attract older people who buy vinyl and stuff like that, which is also great. But like, I do love that you go to a Sports Team show and there's as many people standing at the back loving it as there are like literal like teenagers at the front who go fucking mad for it.
Yeah, it's true. It's what they
I do think like it's a great thing they've cultivated, and I think also it's really important to let a load of lazy music journalists know that anyone can actually go to Cambridge if you get the grades, guys. So it doesn't necessarily mean all of the band are really posh.
No, because anyone could go to that.
There are bands currently who are playing shows who are multimillionaires, who are the sons and daughters of multimillionaires, and constantly having a go at Sports Team for being posh because they sound like they're from the south of England. It's quite lazy. And maybe you should, like, you know, do some research, move on with your life.
Slay.
I don't actually know how posh most of Sports Team are, but I can guarantee you that they're not as posh as some bands I know of that are not getting these things thrown at them.
It's true. And I like that sentiment you were saying earlier there about they do represent just this sense of, you know what, like it's people discovering like bands for the first time. For a lot of people, Sports Team are a way into music for a lot of people, because it's just this collection of young people having a fucking great time. And like going
not
to
Sports Team, they're all haggard and old like us, but they're fans.
They're fans. And it's just I think it's just a wonderful thing. And I always find like, if there is this sense of, they're annoying, or they're not great, or
they are annoying.
Yes, of course, but very. But they, the fact that they represent that, I just find it's just dismissing a whole generation of kids who just want to fucking see bands play. And then, like you say, there's not many of like there's many bands who find they have to kind of act in a certain way to get around that and attract a different audience. Whereas this is it. It's just you're coming to a show, you're there to see a band, you're there to have a great time and sing along to these songs that kind of are just talking through your life and modern day life. And the fact that they want to talk about that and it works well, like great. And the result on this album is just them doing that and also just reaching for more. I'm a big fan of it all, and I think that if you listen to this album, you will have fun. And that's the most important thing out of it. As always,
also,
the sports team.
If you don't have fun, that's also fine. But it's not because the band might not be working class.
What song shall we listen to, Jake? Another one from this record.
Let's listen to Light Industry, which I enjoy because it's kind of the long hot summer on this album. You know, the Rob song that's a bit slower and a bit...
The Rob song.
Obviously... Well, he sings on it.
The Rob song.
The Rob song.
I like that's now going to be a thing going forward. Just the Rob song
it's like
and every
the George
album.
Harrison song.
Same thing, right?
Yeah, sure. No, I think the singles are obviously, by the nature of it, have been more of the upbeat like bangers. So
course.
I think this is a good example of the fact that there's a lot on this album. And also, just about if you hate Sports Team and think Alex Rice is a prat, that's fine too. I don't mind. I'm not a sycophant. I'm just bored of the same lazy criticism of a band that could apply to so many other bands.
I also think you could not like you could not like bands. You could not like podcast hosts famously.
Yeah, it's true.
Please
send in to the mailbag.
Send it to the mailbag. Yeah, tell us how much you hate us. But I think with Sports Team, I just feel like you have to at least respect or acknowledge that they
just engage before. I don't know. I think
get involved.
People are just so angry all the time, aren't they?
Have a bit of fun. Have a bit of fun, lads. Also, they did well on Soccer AM. Well, not
That's
this time
true.
around. Don't know about this time around, but anyway. Yeah, let's listen to Light Industry.
Support Sports Team just to see Al Greenwood belting goals on Soccer AM again and again.
Again, just for that alone. Worth it. Worth it.
This is Light Industry by Sports Team.
Me to the steps and roll me through your text. It's never nothing next, no, it's all the same. So come on and pull yourself away. Oh, come on and pour yourself another glass of exactly the same.
Glorious. What a wonderful time. Gulp. Out now. Go listen.
It is.
It's big. It's great.
It's on track to be in a chart battle with Swedish House Mafia. So
this is what we always wanted. What we always wanted.
This is it. This is my loyalties are contested. You know I love Swedish House Mafia.
Swedish House Mafia famously are the Beatles of our age, Jake.
I've heard that, yes.
So it's tricky.
Which one of them is the George Harrison?
Axwell.
How do you know the name of Swedish House Mafia?
Axwell, Steve Angelo, and Sebastian Ingrosso. There you go. There's the three. Shout out Swedish House Mafia. They couldn't come on the show this week either. So
no, mainly because we didn't ask. But Jamie apparently knows them all intimately. So
don't you worry, child. Heaven may have a plan for you.
Just do the tweets of the week thing.
Tweets of the week.
Great. Got one for us?
Certainly do. We go over to Grimes.
Right, yeah.
Which, big stuff.
Speaking of incredibly posh people that don't get hammered for it enough, Grimes.
Grimes tweets, world is 4,000 years old. Very quick one. Is that right?
No.
4,000? No. World is 4,000 years old. Dinosaurs were planted by God to confuse us. End tweet.
Right.
What do you reckon? Why? Why would the dinosaurs be planted by God to confuse us?
If the world is 4,000 years old, then a lot of Egyptian civilization was also planted to confuse us.
Right, that's all part of the same.
That is a rogue age to go for, because there's like so much. If you said the world is like 400,000 years old,
yeah,
then it's like the dinosaurs are what you're talking about. But like dinosaurs are like 170 million years old, some of them. And that's
right.
I think that's mid-Jurassic. So that's the middle of the dinosaurs, 170 million years ago.
Okay.
So like, if you're going 4,000, God's planted a hell of a lot of shit that isn't dinosaurs. God has been busy.
Is it more like to confuse us from like what's happening in the world, or that time existed, or I'm trying to work out what
what's the confusion
is. Yeah, what's the confusion? Is it more just like, to be fair, is it more just like you're walking down the street and be like, oh, what the fuck is that? But then isn't that animals? Like, wouldn't that be animals as a
I've
whole?
always found it weird. Like, I'm not actually sure. I don't know. Maybe I'm not au fait with the Bible, so there may be a reason.
Au fait.
But there's this like creationism thing, right, where it's like dinosaurs weren't real. Like,
right. Yeah.
Evolution isn't real. All of that was put there. She's actually like presumably not serious. Maybe she is. She's a weird person. But like that is a genuine thought that some people have, and it's like, how come you can believe God created the world and put everything there to confuse us, but you can't believe God created the world and then just did evolution?
True. Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't you just go like, yeah, it did all happen and God made it happen. Dinosaurs were real. God made them.
Do you reckon that dinosaurs are confusing because we can't talk to them? Like, we couldn't talk to the dinosaurs. Like,
talk to the animals.
Yeah, no, we couldn't. Like Dr. Dolittle.
We couldn't squeak and squawk with the animals.
But we couldn't be like, how you doing,
Walk
lads?
with the animals. Yeah, but you can't do that to any animal, can you?
But maybe that's the problem. Like, if we could speak to animals, or would you find that weird if we could speak to animals?
Well, animals would all be fucking morons. That's what gets
Do you
me.
reckon?
Like, if you could, no, they would be. Like, of course they would be, right? Because like people are so much more intelligent than like all other animals that it would be like speaking to the stupidest person you've ever met. Like, you look at like an orangutan and you're like, the wise man of the forest. If he could speak, he could barely string a fucking sentence together. It would be so disillusioning when you actually try to speak to an orangutan. It's just like, stick in with ants. And you'd be like, oh God, this is horrible.
I'm going to be honest, this is sounding a lot like me after a night out in Camden.
It would be. It would be, but it would be like that all the time. It's like Birdsong would suddenly just become loads of birds screaming fuck off at each other.
Again, Camden, night out. No, it does sound about quite similar, to be honest with you.
Did you know that birds are dinosaurs?
What makes a dinosaur a dinosaur?
So there's various. For anyone listening at home, my day job is at the Natural History Museum.
We're really getting it. You're getting this for free. You're getting this for free here.
So dinosaurs is. I mean, I'm actually saying that because it's then going to be laughable how poor my understanding of this is.
Sick, great. Yeah, here we go.
Dinosaurs have specific morphological things. So like their skeleton, they have a certain. Their hips is a major part of it. They're one of the only lizard types with this kind of hips that they have. And their legs go directly under their body rather than out from their body like lizards.
Ooh. Wow. I guess you could, yeah.
So birds are like the people say birds descended from dinosaurs, but in all actual like descriptions and like taxonomical terms, they are dinosaurs.
They are dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Wow. So technically, the dinosaurs aren't dead. That's what you're trying to tell me.
No, ostriches. Also,
ostriches.
If you pluck an ostrich, that just looks like a velociraptor, doesn't it?
I suppose they're like balls, legs, head, aren't they? Basically.
Yeah, and the big, weird, scaly claws too.
Yeah. That's not too bad. I mean, fair enough, actually. So
and you can't talk to them.
Yeah, you can't, famously. And they are confusing, to be fair. Like, an ostrich in general is quite confusing.
Yeah, I think, actually, like, birds only get away with it because there's so many of them and they're quite small. And then you look at, like, an ostrich or an emu and you're like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, like, even an eagle gets away with it. But even then, I'm like, oh, that eagle looks a bit mad.
It's because they can fly. They fly away, don't they?
Yeah. Before you can get into any, argy-bargy, they've gone. Yeah, it's like pigeons, I find. Would a pigeon technically be a dinosaur? Is that what you're trying to say to me? Fuck off. A pigeon's a dinosaur.
Yeah.
With that fucking bombshell, This is Kill v Maim by Grimes. Fucking pigeons are dinosaurs. Man, I'm glad I've learned that today.
I'm
God.
just looking up the actual thing here.
Oh yeah.
You know, the details.
Oh right, okay. You want to, because now you've put yourself out there by saying that you're like some sort of expert, and now you don't want to make yourself like an idiot.
Exactly.
On the show.
So birds are descended from theropods, which are the bipedal, the two-legged ones, right?
Right.
So the same group the T-Rex is in, but they evolved from little ones, little boys.
Mm. So they are.
Yeah. I guess it's the same as saying like if a mammal, like we evolved from like the really early mammals, but we're still mammals, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like there's no actual sort of difference apart from time between them. So it's like, well, yeah, of course they are.
Yeah. So dinosaurs walk amongst us. That's what you're trying to say.
Well, they flap amongst us, I guess.
Again,
so anytime you see a pigeon, just think to yourself,
dinosaur.
That's a dinosaur.
Wow. Kind of makes Jurassic Park feel a bit pointless, doesn't it, after that? Like, they're there already.
Yeah, exactly.
Why bother?
Yeah, and I think also this is the other thing, isn't it, when people are like, oh, like, wouldn't it be great if we could, like, bring back the mammoth? And it's like, well, only because they're extinct. It's just a big elephant. Like, they're all bringing back the dinosaurs. It's like, yeah, they're here as birds. They're like, oh, yeah, but they're boring because I've already seen them. It's the novelty. So if you brought them back, people would be bored within 10 years. Jurassic Park would fold.
Yeah. Yeah, and it will end up like Blobbyland.
Exactly.
No fuckers going to it, and it's just sad. So basically, don't need it. Steven Spielberg, what's that about, mate?
What is that about?
We've got one more.
Anyway, sorry, I was looking up dinosaurs. So Liam Gallagher of BDI fame has tweeted. He has tweeted. Loading. I want to get this right.
There we go.
Buy your own fucking glue, and glue is all in capitals. What do you think about that?
What's happened there? Like,
don't know.
I mean, yeah, because I feel like glue is one of those items which, you know, you need it so sparingly.
I don't know if he means drugs or like Pritt stick. I have no idea.
Oh, okay. So like, but is that? Hold on. Glue isn't like a little pseudonym of any sort of dodgy
glue,
stuff,
like sniffing glue.
Oh yeah, but that's more PVA, I would say.
It's not a solvent. PVA wouldn't do anything. That's what I mean. I don't know whether he's saying that or not.
Okay, on its base form, right? Glue is something you can have in your house for like years, and I don't think you'd run out. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not using, even if it's a Pritt stick, you're not using that often enough that you get through it in like 6 months, unless you're well into arts and crafts, which fair enough if you are. But in a regular occurrence in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, unless you've got kids.
Yeah.
Because like kids, art attacks always telling you to do glue stuff.
Yeah, but do kids do that nowadays? Like, why not get like, you know what I mean?
My parents would never let me do it anyway, which I think is fair, because it would be a pain in the ass.
There's Nintendos.
The Nintendos. Oh wow, said that at the same time.
Yeah, who needs it? So, not something you get through a lot. So I can understand if you're like, I reckon I can borrow something glue. But who is Liam Gallagher's like friends or neighbours that's annoying him enough for the glue?
Who's asking Liam Gallagher for PVA?
To the point where he's like, the fuck, get your own fucking glue. Maybe that is the measure of just the community and world that he hangs out in.
The measure of the man.
Yeah, maybe a lot of sticking going on there, Maybe. I feel like glue is like done. You know what I mean? I feel like we're over glue. I feel like we don't need glue anymore.
I think that's a weird thing to say.
What do you mean? No, but when was the last time you had to use glue? Please enlighten me.
Last time I actually... Well, this is the thing. I don't own glue, but the last time I could have used some glue was quite recently.
What happened?
Well, my phone case has got a little crack in it, and I could use some super glue to glue it back together, but I don't own any, so I haven't.
Right. But you're fine.
I'm not ideal.
But you're fine. Like, you can
I'm
live
not
without
ideal,
glue.
I suppose.
You can live without it. This is what I'm trying to say.
What about, like, all magazines are glued together and books?
No, that's the...
Maybe we're done with, like,
stencils.
personal glue.
Yeah. Like, industrial
glue, fine.
Fair. Go for it. But, like, regular day-to-day glue, we don't need it anymore. We're done.
And on that note, this is Slide Away by Oasis, which is what stuff would do without glue.
Now that you're mine, we'll find a way of tracing the sun. Let me be the one who shines with you. In the morning, we don't know what to do. To overcome, we'll find a way. Do what we've done.
Get rid of glue 2022. That's all I'm
That is
saying.
it.
That
is it.
All I'm saying. That's it. We've come to
That's
the
what
end
we
of
got
the show.
time for. Yeah, that's it.
It's over. Done. Capiche. Arrivederci. Bye-bye. All of that jazz.
Half of that didn't mean what you wanted it to mean. Any predictions for the next coming weeks, Jamie?
I reckon that Bjork is gonna open a plant shop. I just reckon that's the sort of thing that she'd do.
Okay.
She'd just start selling, I don't know,
Plants.
satsumas.
So like a greengrocers.
Can you do both? I mean, if you're selling seeds,
why not?
aren't you?
Why not?
Sell some. What kind of plant names are there? What other plant? Apart from roses and all that jazz,
What do you mean?
Baluchas,
Lilies, tulips, spider plants, rhododendrons.
Oh yeah, rhododendrons,
ferns.
Yep, big shout. What about the devil's ivy? Oh, that sounds like it should mean something else.
Yeah, that is the thing people like, though. Weird one, isn't it?
Hemp?
Well, maybe. Hemp? Oh, you wouldn't be selling that, would you?
I don't know what Bjork would do. I'm just saying she'd have a shop. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, all right.
What about you, Jake? What's your
Similar.
prediction?
I think Bjorn
Go on.
Borg will open a plant shop because of the similar name. We'll see Bjork do it and think, why not Bjorn?
Oh, so that's sounds like the start of a new BBC comedy show.
Yeah, Bjork and Bjorn Borg's.
Bjork and Bjorn are the ultimate odd neighbours.
Exactly.
That sort of vibe. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm in. Show me. I would love to see it.
That's that. End of the show.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Guys. Yeah, thanks. And remember, if you're recording a podcast via an app that's not that high quality and a mic that is, make sure that halfway through the show, the mic doesn't say that the memory card is full. So you have to rely on the...
Brilliant. Well, enjoy the show. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.